Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday. I feel like I'm on a revolving roller. Well, yes, I am, but it just seems like Monday comes around so fast. Like, is it not for you guys? Ugh, just it's fast, fast, fast. And then we're going to be back here again next Monday. Time waits on no man. But happy Monday, happy Monday. Hey, Saul. Um, Adrian. And wait, Keeks is Keisha, right? Keisha. So I'm trying to get my brains working. You be safe out there now. I know about them sirens. Mercy, they get going. I'm finishing off my coffee. Is Zal in the house yet? Cause usually we on deck together with this coffee. Today we're going to talk about growth never stops here. Over here in the studio, as in me, myself, and I'll never stop growing. So growth never stops here. As a grief artist, I figured this was like so on point. Because like May is already done, content for May. When April was done, it's just like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy the way things are really lining up. But again, God knows better than me, right? So that worked out. But growth never stops over here. I should have put over here. And it's just one of those things. So today I'm kind of we're gonna be not all over the place, but we're kind of gonna be in some places. But I want us to make sure that we are loving on ourselves, that we are safe in our minds, in the world, in our houses, things like that. Like you really have to own your stuff, right? Because growth doesn't stop when you become an adult. It stops when you kind of just, I feel like it doesn't stop until you die, really. I feel like we're just growing all along. But this was I put down some scrap papers. I had some scraps and I'm trying to get active at using my scraps because Tammy over at Tammy Ness and her and Lisa, they're doing such great things with these 100-day challenge things. And so I'm getting into doing my scraps. So but the music notes wasn't scraps, but I pulled them up. As a matter of fact, I need that book. Oh, did I put it up? Oh, I did with it. I got 5 of them, and every time I get ready to use them, I can never find. They're like, I call myself putting them somewhere so I can get them. There it is. Good job, Karen. Good job. Good job. It's a regular old hymnal. It's the hymnal, as a matter of fact. Well, not this one, but I got this one from a thrift store. But this is the hymnal that we use at my church. We all sing the same hymns, you know, you know. But I'm gonna be pulling some of these out. Gonna be using some of those today. But welcome, 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 welcome. Hi, Lynn. How are you? Let me put my chat up over here so I can see for myself because that worked out good for me. All right, Cookie. Cookie's in the house. Yes. Catherine said quietly without bouncing. I look here, I'll be listening while I slowly wake up. Oh, it's 5:30 a.m. Oh, Lord. Thank y'all for being so faithful and hanging out over here. I really do appreciate it. Oh, I was supposed to be reading something real quick because I get in the habit of not doing it. And you have to do what you're supposed to do. So let me do a little bit of how. There's Val. Val popped in. Hi, Eddie. Eddie's gonna be watching while eating. I just finished eating a chicken salad with topped with some pineapples and a jalapeno for the spice. Because I'm a spicy girl. You know. All right, let's see. I think I'm caught up with the chat. I think I am. Zal, I'm coming. I'm trying to get settled. Yes, see, Zal, I was just talking about you because I got my coffee. You have 4 of those red hymnals. Listen, I think I got about 4 or 5 of them. I know I got 3 for sure. But Our church has, oh, this one came from Warner Barracks, which is in Germany, which is no longer, they're no longer. Um, but they were, that's how I got the two I know that I have, and then a couple of Bibles that came from there. Because they were, I closed down Warner Barracks where because they were closing down the military installation. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so I'm almost done with my coffee. It had a little bit of from earlier this morning when I was on PMR Studio, and they're talking about drinking over. I said it's 5 o'clock somewhere. I always have a shot, just a little shot in my coffee, which means like growth never stops, right? You got to learn what makes you tick and what makes you don't. I've learned that if I have a big old cup of coffee and a little shot of it just wakes me up. It gets the blood pumping. It used to be red wine, but the red wine, for whatever reason, the only red wine that really works for me without raising my blood sugar is probably like $15 a bottle. And just like, I want the coffee. So, anyways, you choose what you want, right? Growth doesn't stop. So today we're going to be talking about, and this is, let's see, this is our, no, we have one more because we have Wednesday. What's Wednesday? Wednesday's our last April. Yeah, Wednesday's the 29th. So that will be our last. So this week is the last. These are the final episodes in the series where we're talking about the quiet power of staying teachable. A humble, teachable spirit will take you further than pride ever could, which is why things are spiraling around in the world right now. Because when you're in a prideful state, you don't have the greater good, the greater people in mind. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to that. All right, so in this episode we're going to talk about what it means to stay teachable in every season of your life while humility sustains long-term growth, right? How to remain open and learning with love, becoming a woman or man who can evolve through anything that life throws at you. You usually just have to decide, how am I going to move forward? It's normally what it is. But when you stay open, you stay growing and stay teachable, right? Okay. Now, before we move into all the things I'm going to share, these are the books that I have left. I have, mail will go out. I said I was going to probably ship them out, the ones that have been sold. I'll probably ship them out probably Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday. That gives me a whole week of, things. But these are the books. If you've seen my videos, you've seen all the little things, I feel very proud of myself because I did some adulting. I did some things. I put these out because they've been here in the studio. I had a couple orders that came through from my website, and nobody says which one they want. So everybody's leaving it up to me to choose which one to send. So I'm cool with that. Don't have a problem with that. So these are the handmade art journals that I've made. And I've made from those painty pages. Y'all remember this year we've done those painty pages. So we have all of them. I did a video. It's over there as a video. But you have like Becky and Eddie on the cover of that one, my stamp, and Christy Hartman on the cover of that one. Becky and, can't tell. Oh, I think that's Shalon Double Vision on that one. Christy Hartman, y'all know Christy Hartman. We just wrote out because the cone flowers and all the things. But each on the inside, they are different. Now, the reason that I put these together and put them out there, I was, it's just like, wait, these would be cool for other people. You get these, they're $10, and you get these, and you get to add now your art. Now, what made me want to do that? Well, Mariah and P over there making books like crazy, and I'm just like, those are cute. And so all these painted papers, and I was stacking up stuff, and I was just like, I don't want to hold on to all these things. I want to share, right? So that's how that happened. And then I'm trying to get in the habit of sharing. Sharing is caring. So I'm not gonna tell you the price my daughter told me to put on them. I was just like, no, it's just my little painted papers. I just want to share, but I don't want to, I can't just give everything in the studio away. So that's where we started. I ain't gonna tell you. But anyway, they have all, once you get them, you get to add your, your stuff to them. Each page is all done. Some of them are not. Look, that one's got some pretty stuff on there. And I tried to mix them up so that they don't be like all of the same flower, because they could have been, but I didn't want to. Then there's Becky on that one, on the cover of that one, and that one. And then Becky Pop Dots and looks like Sophia's flowers. But you go through, you do. And so you turn in these handmade art journals, or will be now, you put your spin on them, and then there'll be, I guess, a collaboration after that. I guess, I don't know. Then this one, which I think is yummy, it's got texture on it. And that's the front, or you can make that the front. There's no front, back. You can do whatever you want. I didn't do the pages because with if you decide you want to write on them or whatever, then if I put the wax on them and seal them so they won't stick, then you won't be able to really do that. So I left them, all I did was put them together, slap the paint on the paper off the gel plate, and kept it moving. Stamped, put my stamp in there. Look at that one. That one. So the texture on some of these are good. Now, this is what I did with some of the other ones. I made my own personal books because I was doing so much gel printing, and I was doing it not with any rhyme or reason, you could say. So whenever I would like something, I'd be like, wait, let me go back and see that color combination, or something like, how did that print go with that color? Or how did that stencil go with that one? And I go back and I have my own little book that I kind of do that with. So if you are interested in any of these, all you have to do is send me an email or go over to the website and you can grab it. You can grab yours. And if there's one that you want, go over and look at the video. If there's one, because I go into and flip through them more. If there's one that you want more so than others, then let me know that too. You can put that in the information for the PayPal, because that's where it's going. All right, that's that. Those are going back. Oh, and then these two are thicker, and these two have a little bit more intentionality on the front of them. So because these are thicker and they're going to be heavier, these are $12. Those over there are 10 because they're smaller, but these are very, very, they're thicker, and they have a whole lot more stuff in them. And these are done with 32-pound paper. Those are done with 28-pound paper. So look, that one, oh, that's not supposed to be in there, but I guess we could leave it in there for whoever gets it. They can get it. So there's that. And then Joy, Joy, Joy. Oh, I thought, love it, love it, love it. So that's that. And again, I've been playing around with stamps and what do you call it? They were doing, somebody showed masterboarding. And I was like, let me just slap some stuff on some paper. And that's what that was. And then I wanted to also share my handmade journals that are Coptic stitch. These are over on my website as well. I don't, please, can you tell me which website is on? Oh, wait. It should be, it's on the slap and paint on paper. Slap and paint on paper. Yeah, the one you put in is on there. That's the one. I updated. That's why I say I did some adulting this weekend. So these are on there as well. So these and those are on there. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I put a link up under this video, I'm almost certain I did. I don't know where to look at that. Where you look at that? Let's see. Let's see. Did I do. Yep, to order your handmade art journal. Yep. There's a link for that as well. So in the description box below, to order your handmade art journal, to order these right here. Remember, these are 12, so they're not separated on there. But if you ask for these two, then I'll have to tell you. I didn't do a thing for those, so I might need to stop showing them, like that. I don't know. But yeah, the Handmade Art Journal is on the Karen McCoy System that one. Did a little thing. So we're trying to grow up and do some things. These are also on slappingpaintonpaper.com. These are art journals. These are regular art journals. All of these are handmade. Y'all, until like I really got beat up by my daughter. So I had to stop getting beat up. So basically, she's like, "You got the stuff, but you don't never show it. It's on your website, but you don't never show it, nor you say anything." And I'd be like, "My bad," and I don't, because once I make it, it's like the joy of it is like that. It's over, So there's that. But and these are Coptic stitch. So this is a 4x6. It's 11 signatures, which is 33 pages. It's mixed media paper, and that's faux leather on the front. Hey, Julie Parker. Karen, have you ever Coptic stitched single papers? Single papers? Let me think about it. Have I ever Coptic stitched single? Like Uncle Fools. Adrian, I don't know. You mean these are single pages? Is that what you're saying? Well, no, that's two. Some of them I did have. Is that one? No, most of these are two. I think that's what you mean. Because if you single page the Coptic and you single, like I have two on here, and you're saying, are you asking me about two? No, not signatures, loose paper. Oh, no, I guess not, because I was a little slow on that one. No, not signatures, loose paper. So Coptic stitch on, oh, wait, yeah. You know what? I think I did do like get a piece of paper and just Coptic stitch on the paper. No, I haven't done that as a whole, but I do know there was a class that I was in that did. So yeah. And this one here, this book right here is a 6x9. It has 5 signatures, 20 pages, and this one is also Coptic stitch, but it's got fabric. I did it with fabric, and this is watercolor paper because these are art journals. So that's my little, these are the ones that I have that are also on the website that I so graciously do not tell y'all about. So y'all make sure if my daughter come in the chat, y'all can let her know I mentioned them because they're handmade. And I also do customized journals. I don't like I'll do a journal. You just give me the color and don't give me too many instructions because I don't like instructions. IDK, if you saw Mo's message, but your painted paper journals are not in the shop. They're not on that slap and paint on paper shop. Where she's selling. Listen, that mean I ain't save it. See, I call myself being Mr. McCoy was bothering me too. I'm gonna just put that out there. He was off yesterday. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see now. Dun, 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 dun. No, 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 no. That's not what I want. Bad Karen. Your products, because I took some stuff down. That means all the other soul books are still on there too. Then, if that be the case, yes. Two blossoms. Well, golly gee. Okay, well I'll have to. But either way, they are on. You can get them. If you go to the description box below this video, right now, it's down there. There's a link down there. The link in the description box takes you to purchase. Yeah, that one is for sure, for sure. That is set up just for that. So the description box when it does work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank y'all for being so patient with me. I ain't no pro like Mariah. Mariah got it on point. I get all that stuff doing. Maybe I need to take a class. That requires her telling me what to do, right? Yeah. That's why I'm over here talking. That's why I'm talking to myself over here because they have been entertaining the bejeebies out of me on Mondays watching Mariah and P. I just be like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, it'd be hilarious. Oh, there's Mariah. Mariah's in the chat. Yes, it is a pin. Oh wait, did she pin it? Cause I got another pin. Let me do that. Let me do that. Dashboard order. There we go. Let's get that. There we go. I learn. I listen very well. And see, I think I do. I do. I think I do a good job of listening and learning. That's why I'm talking. Like, I feel like today was a great way to have a conversation about it. Uh, oh, wait, where is that at? You can get confused when you got too many screens open, too. Oh, that's why I wasn't seeing it. My chat wasn't moving. All right. Click on that. That's the order page. I was trying to put them in my shop. There we go. There we go. For everybody coming in, that's where it is. All right. All right. All right. I thank y'all for helping a sister out. I do. I do. I really, really, really do. Yeah, pinned messages are at the bottom now. I don't like that. How many of y'all don't like that? I need to check and see if I can go back to pinning it to the top. I think it works better when it's on top. Okay, I'm done with my coffee. Um, I want to share a couple things that I've been doing behind the scenes, going back to my first love. I mean, well, yeah, kind of, which is acrylic. I started out with acrylic painting. Watercolor, I fell into. Um, but these are two that I did Saturday, Friday, Saturday, because Friday I was out adulting. I had to do adult things. Zuzu, it's good to see you in the chat. How are you? Yeah, I'm not a fan. It's just I be looking for it to be up top, and it's just not. But that kind of goes into what I'm gonna be talking about today, y'all. Just walk with me. Don't get weary. Don't leave me, okay? Don't leave me out here by myself. So, but these two, I thought I did a fabulous job. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And the tulips, it's like the wind is blowing and then just the sky. I was feeling myself. And it's on canvas. This one's on a little canvas, but look at me trying to get my little rays around the sun. And I was just, the flowers are being commanded by the sun. Then I did a bigger one. I'm turning it this way so you can get it all. And this one is, y'all know, what's his name? Reused canvases. I reused the canvas. That's what's on originally on. I was like, I don't want that. So I reused the canvas. But I was watching a movie while I was doing this, and I don't advise doing that. Okay. Because I missed some instructions somewhere around there, and then I tried to go back and make it work. It didn't work. So I didn't care. I just went on and did it my way. That was supposed to be water, and it didn't. But this, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You can always go back and redo it. I mean, I can always go back and just cover it all up and start over again. But growth never stops. And when I get comfortable with a thing, I have to find the next challenge kind of for me in life. That's kind of where things are. So I went back to acrylics. And I was like, well, let me see. I feel like I need to be challenged a little more. And when I tell you the layers that are on these flowers, there are some layers on these flowers. And I must say, I gave myself a good pat on the back. It probably took me about 4 or 5 hours in between drying and stuff like that. I was very pleased. So I wanted to share that with y'all. So if y'all see me putting out some videos and be like, she got acrylic. I thought she was a watercolor girl. She is. Her is. But her just over here making sure that she keeps, this is what her is. This is what her doing. Her making sure that she keeps her joy and make sure she keeps her peace and make sure that she be able to serve with love. Right? Okay. Let me make sure I ain't missed nobody. Hey, Allie K. I don't know if I said hello to you. Anybody else chimed in? Are we all caught up? caught up, we caught up, we caught up, we are caught up. And Ryan, I'm gonna send you a picture of something else that I did today. I was very proud of myself. Y'all might get to see it sooner or later, but maybe not. I don't know. Gosh, gotta wait because I'm over here learning things. Why? Because growth never stops, right? So I want y'all to grab your coffee. Val, you got your coffee? I've drunk my coffee. Now I got my water. And I want you to take a moment, take a deep breath, and I want you to really, really, really think hard about, are you giving yourself grace? Are you loving on yourself? Are you letting people tell you what they want you to do as opposed to what you want to do? Like all of these things are things I want. I want you to also have a journal. And another thing, if you are subscribed to my if you've gotten anything or you subscribed to my email, you should have gotten the email last night with I think about 15 or 20 different flowers. Should have gotten something. You should have got something. Told you I'm trying to do better over here. Going into another quarter, and I just felt like I didn't send out an email. And I was very hard on myself. Nobody else had to beat me up. I did a good job of beating myself up. Okay. And this is why it led me into where I looked at where I am today. It was like growth never stops. And I was like, is that not a good one to be talking about today while I'm over here doing all this beating myself up kind of thing, right? So today I kind of want to talk about the conversation where um women really we want to grow. I think men they just do what they do a little bit faster than women do. I think men are actionable and women we are emotional, right? And so sometimes that's hard for us when we're mothers, we run a business and, taking care of people, and God forbid we have to be a caregiver. It kind of puts a lot of strain and stress on you, right? So today we're going to be talking about something that quietly shapes every relationship that has been in my life. And that is how I like to be corrected, or how I correct, or most of the time how I receive correction. You know, there's a difference that I've learned. There's a difference. And when I tell you, I did a lot of writing in my books. Remember, told you I want y'all to have a book. Write it down. Things that you feel like if I say something, and it's just like, don't worry about it. Just write it down and visit it later. You might not need to, really jump on it because it might not be for you. It might not. Because my grandma always said, a hit dog will holler. But sometimes you don't need to holler. Sometimes you just might need to be like, and you think about it that way. Or you might need to just back into it. Don't know. But there is a difference between being harsh and being helpful. There is a difference between being corrected and being attacked, right? And if you don't learn that difference, you will either shut down or you'll push people away, right? And we don't want to push people away because the old Karen will be like, yeah, I'm good. That's one less person I got to deal with in my life. But the older I get, that's not really what I want. Like over at PMR Studio, they were talking about friends. Hey, Darcy, was talking about friends. And I have three, I have four friends. I can pick up the phone right now. And it's just like we've talked yesterday. And it could be 6, 7 months or whatever, or when I need whoever. Everybody don't show up for the same thing. Like when my children passed, each separate one set of friends showed up for this set and the other set of friends showed up for, so it's not always that they can show up at the same time, but everybody kind of gets together, you know. So I had to really kind of hone in on it, like, do I really really want to keep pushing people away in a negative sense, right? I'm missing my water. I had to pour all my water. Because you can't keep that acrylic water on your desk. That stuff stinks. Grab me some water. But and right before live, as a matter of fact, I was talking on the phone to one of those friends, but we talk. We might not pick up and talk on the phone. We might text or whatever. So, and it works out. But there's some people, it's not necessarily about you, it's about them. Do they need you in their life? Not do you want to push them away? Sometimes you have people that are assigned to your life because you're the person that helped them to learn how to breathe after life has happened, that you teach them how to create differently. Darcy freed me up from drying things. Just like, anybody got time for that? I mean, as I was watching Peter Mars Studio, I was like, oh man, I got to buy some more plates because I got to let everything dry. Then oh man, I watched Darcy one day and Darcy's like, oh, ain't nobody got time for that. We ain't got time for. Boy, she freed me up because I learned let it dry. You get a better print when you let it dry. But then it's like so freeing. It gave me so much joy just to just pull it off before it was even dry, right? So growth never stops. And that's what I want you to know, that there's a different people need to be in your life, not just maybe for you, but maybe for them. Darcy needed to be in my life because P's in my life, right? Darcy needed to let me know that it's okay to not let it dry and see and do whatever you want to do and slap this over here and have your desk doing whatever. Don't stress over it. If you're happy, you're happy. If you're fine, you're fine. That's when I come along and then I tell you, slap paint on paper. If you're trying to get the joy of the love of your life and you want to make sure that you're happy, then I come along and I just be like, don't worry about what you're going to put on this blank piece of paper. If that blank piece of paper scares the hell out of you, don't worry about it. Just go and slap something on there. And when you slap something on there, then it should no longer be intimidating to you. Now I'm going to do this kind of on this side and this side because we're going to fold this in half and this is going to be a twofer. Because when we fold it in half, it's going to be like what? An art journal, right? So growth never stops. And so we're going to walk through this very slowly because I want to be honest in how I feel about some things. And I want it to be very practical because this is not about being perfect ever. It's not about being perfect. This is about becoming better. I became a better person when I decided to show up for me. I became a better artist when I decided to do what I wanted to do. When I have a question, I ask a question. When I want to know somebody's opinion, I'll ask. If I don't want to know somebody's opinion, most of the time I'm going to do it over here in the studio by myself. I won't get on live because I've learned that if you don't know how to do a thing, people, they want to be helpful. Why? Because they don't want you to get stuck or they don't want you to mess up on something that they've messed up on already. But sometimes the mess up is what makes it the best part I've learned for me because life is already hard enough. I mean, who says it needs to be a perfect flower? Who says? I mean, who says? Who says you have to make your bed up every day after you become an adult? Because, if you was one of those, you got to clean your room up before you, and I'm saying this, and my daughter be like, well, you was one of those. Yep, I was one of those because I was raised by one of those. Now it's just like I try to leave the bed without, try to walk away without making it up. It's just ingrained in me. Just like I can't help it. I'm a three towel fold, three-fold tower, towel. Lay it down, fold it in half, then fold it in half again, and then flip it that way. That's just me. Um, and it's more room. Now, does it make it right? No, it's just my way, right? So sometimes being uncomfortable makes people feel like they're being attacked. You will avoid the very things that could, you know, make you feel that way. But sometimes those are the very things that help you evolve, right? So I want to ask you, y'all know I got some questions. We got some real good questions. I think they were good questions for me. So if they help me, maybe. See, Darcy, you my kind of girl. There you go. That's what I'm saying. See? So when I married Mr. McCoy, he had to learn how to refold towels. Or you don't have to use now my mentality is you don't have to learn, you don't have to do the towel. I mean, it's been almost 20 years now, so he knows how to fold the towels. But every now and then he kind of flips it and just kind of, no, you got to fold it. You can't just ball it. I was like, look here. How about this here? You get your towels and you know what you want, go put it in the bed in that bathroom, and I'll keep my towels over here. because I'm gonna fold mine the way that I want to see them, and they go in. It's like being in the store, you know. I don't know. But my aunt taught me how to fold towels, and I liked it. And I also put the matching washcloth in the matching towel. Pretty fancy over here, but I stopped doing that because Mr. McCoy kept losing my daggone washcloths. That's all I'm saying. Or the boy, that youngest son of mine would take it to the basketball court, and then I would not have the matching towels. You feel me? It's just like, oh my goodness. Okay, anyways, I squirreled a little bit. My bad. It's all about towels. It really isn't, but it's about growth never stops. Like growth never stops. Me and Mr. McCoy have been together, it'll be 17 years next month. Married 17 years, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh God, we've been together almost 21 years. Wait, really? 17, 18, 19, 20, 2006. Hmm. Wow. Times flies. But through marriage, we are still growing. I feel like for him, he just really wants it to be like, well, darn, do I still have to learn stuff? And I'd be like, I'm still learning stuff about you. And he's like, really? It's like, yeah. Like, I feel like every month or every other month, I learn something new that you just don't want to just up and do. And then he looks at me with this look on his face, like, "Dude, what you talking about?" So I don't say anything right then. I'll point something out. And he'd be like, I didn't even think about that. And I'll be like, yeah, that's one of those things. Because I be trying not to be right. I just want to kind of point some things out, and it just might be me, right? It might be. It might be. I don't know. But there's a difference between being harsh and being loving. And I've learned that being a mother of 7 children, 4 girls and 3 boys, I learned that I had to come down a notch. I had to come down more than a notch when we got married because I was used to barking. And I was used to kind of, don't you hear me? Kind of tone. And then I had to realize, I went to counseling and he said something. He's like, damn for doing, damn for don't. And I was like, well, dang, that was kind of like, I just said do such and such and such. And he's like, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. So there's a difference between harshness and loving correction. He's like, I don't have a problem with you correcting me. It's just how you say it. So that was probably about 10 years ago. So I feel like I've gotten better. I just don't think he receives me better because I feel like he got used to the bark. And now I'm just like, oh, well, if that's what you want to do, then that's fine. And I just don't think he kind of realized like you asked for it and I gave it to you. I've changed because growth never stops, right? Just saying. But let's define this clearly. Harshness is driven by the emotion without restraint, which was what I was doing. Loving correction is driven by intention with control. So I wanted what I wanted, but I needed to figure out a different way to get it, right? Harshness sounds like pressure. Loving correction sounds like direction. Harshness says, oh, you're wrong. Loving correction says, let's look at this another way. One shuts the door and the other opens it, right? We do that here in art. If you were sitting right here, some people who is fabulous at watercolor, they'd be like, you're doing that wrong. Wait a minute now. That will make me get defensive and shut down. Instead of saying, well, maybe let's look at it another way. What's your end result? And then that's when I can tell the person, I don't know what my end result is. I don't have an end result. All I want to do is slap paint on paper and create as I go. Right? There's no end result for me. Which is why learning some things over here on the other side of this screen, like I've been doing, is what is really teaching me. Well, that's why growth never stops. And I'm having fun. Like it's so interesting. Like I did what I did today. Y'all should have saw me running around the studio. Like I was like, oh, I get it. I see it. Okay, I got that bridge. All right, go girl. Right. It's what you have to do. You have to celebrate yourself while you're growing. And don't have yourself around people that all constantly wants to shut the door because they can't have things their way. Yes, they can have it their way, but there's a different way of getting it, right? Now, here's the truth, both can carry the same message, but only one allows the message to land. Okay. for me, the more you yell at me, the less I'm going to hear you. The more you got tone and got bass in your voice, the less I'm going to hear you. And I actually will come back and probably be like, who the hell you think you're talking to like that? That's because I'm a grown woman. So you're not going to come at me like I'm two. You're not going to come at me like I'm 10. You're not going to come at me like I'm 12. You're going to come at me like I'm grown, like I pay bills, you know? So when you think about it, do I react more to tone than to truth? That's what I had to do. So you might ask yourself that question. Do you react more to tone than to truth? And the next one I want you to think about is when someone corrects you, do you feel attacked? I'm just curious. When someone corrects you, do you feel attacked? Because for me, when someone correct me, I had to ask the question, do I feel attacked? Am I feeling attacked like right now? Like what's going on? Right? What am I protecting in this moment? So I had to write it down. I had to sit with it and I couldn't rush past it because there was a reason why if somebody did come at me like that, that I basically felt like I was being attacked. So I had to ask the question, why am I protecting? Why am I needing to feeling a need to, be so guarded maybe. All right. And again, it came to how it was being said. It came to my upbringing. Y'all know I told you my mama had the greatest of tones and words and all the things. I felt like my name wasn't what it was, you know. And I didn't feel like unless I was being called that, it was, that. So for me, I will shut down if the tone gets to be a little harsh, right? That's just me. Um, and harshness, like I say, is driven by the emotion. So sometimes people come at you based on maybe what they went through in life. I don't know. I get a little um where was I? Where was I? Where was I? Oh, we went to Home Depot. We got the dog's air conditioned heater unit to put in their doghouse. So we had to go. We went to Home Depot. We spent the day hanging out Saturday. We went to lunch. Um, and there was in the Home Depot. Told William I never go to that Home Depot again. Um, I felt like for number one, if I come into your establishment, I want a couple things. First, I want you to acknowledge that I've came in. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you doing? Secondly, is there anything I can help you with? Especially if I look like I'm looking around like I'm lost. And that I know where that comes from. That comes from the retail manager in me. It's called lease line management. That's what they used to call it. Lease line management. And you need to manage that lease line because in order for that lease to get paid, you need to manage and speak to the people to come in, make the people feel invited, welcoming. So it's one of the things that's just instilled in me. But also, I'm a Southern girl, and my grandmother says even a dog deserves a good morning, good afternoon, or a hello. So when you walk past somebody, you better be speaking. So it's twofold for me. So now that I'm here, in Alabama, back in my little hometown, I expect every daggum store I go in to be like, hey, how you doing? How y'all? Kind of thing. I don't care what your tone, how you want to do it. Hello, welcome, whatever. I don't care. Speak. So we walk around this store and walk around and walk around. We're looking for people. And the one person we saw that was working, I told William later on, I said, I bet you he was the manager because everybody else was on aisle. They were just talking to each other. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to come up to you and ask you to come and help me. That's what I'm not going to do. Okay. So William will do that. And I'd be like, okay, you want it, but I will leave. I will leave and drive across town to go to another store where I know they're going to give me the service that I want. I'm not finna beg you, because if I stop coming in here and enough people stop coming, they're gonna have to lay a couple of y'all off. I mean, might as well. You ain't work no way. You ain't working no way. You're just standing up here, and most of the time you see them on their cell phones. So, okay, past that, I squirreled a little bit. So, for me, I had to check my emotions. Like I had to check and I had to restrain myself because I already knew why I was feeling the way I was. The old manager in me was just like, y'all better get y'all butt over here and ask somebody if they need some help. Because it's like three people over there, and all of us were needing assistance. But Mr. McCoy went to the front. And I know he went to the front so he can let the people up there know that people back there ain't working, you know. Um, but when you think about it, you really got to ask yourself, why do you do it? So another question I used to ask myself is, what I'm about to say necessary, right? Is it clear? Is it respectful? And that's why I kept my mouth closed. Because for number one, it wasn't going to be respectful. I was not going to be nice. And so there was no need for me to say something. Sometimes you don't always have to say something. And I feel like you can teach people a lot in your quietness. You ain't always got to be loud and boisterous. You just don't say nothing and they'll be okay with that, right? Being teachable doesn't mean you agree with everything. It means you're willing to examine everything. And sometimes I do a lot of examining from looking on the back. Okay, chat moving. Let me come over here. Let me pause a little bit. Got y'all think about those questions I just asked. I'll scroll back. Yeah, let's answer that. Eddie, you was live today? Oh no, that one. Okay, I saw that one. I was gonna say, wait a minute now. That's what I That's exactly how this depends. Okay, depends on the person. Okay. Do I feel attacked? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I do a lot of, are you listening? Do you hear me? Yes. Hi, Michelle. Yes, we do a lot of that. They be listening. They just have selective hearing. I can't tell. I'm not gonna tell y'all what I tell Mr. McCoy. Like when I'll say something and he'd be like, "What you said?" I say, "I bet you if I said something else, you'd have heard that." Y'all can infer with that because ain't got no problem with that one. Sure, my husband sounds like he was listening, but later he is saying, "You never told me." That's because he didn't want to do it. Sometimes you know that certain people are not trying to correct you, they're attacking. I have already taught most of those people to not talk to me crazy, though. So no worries there. Got it. Uh huh. Uh huh. Oh, so you're welcome. You got your coloring pages. Oh, I can't wait to see what you do with them. Oh, I love them. I'm really sorry I have to go. Okay, Julie Parker, which you're probably gone by now by the time I get to that. Hopefully, if you didn't hear it, Julie, hopefully you heard it. Hi, Michelle Waltz. How are you? Okay, hopefully she heard me say goodbye. All right. Now I got another set of questions because y'all know I got some more questions, but um a teachable person says something like, I will listen long enough to learn, even if I don't agree. That posture alone can sometimes elevate your own life, right? And I mean, and even if you don't agree, but it means that you're willing to kind of listen, kind of, because the moment you believe you have nothing left to learn, you quietly stop growing. I think that's just me, and I feel like it's evergreen for a min for a reason. Evergreen means it's evergreen, it's ever there, ever learning for you to use it, right? When was the last time? This is a question I asked myself. When was the last time I changed my mind after hearing someone else's perspective? I just gave y'all an example of that using Darcy and P. That was clear, a good example of me changing my mind. I don't think I do let stuff dry. So I use both of their perspective. But the really, really letting it dry the way that P lets it dry, is when I'm at the end and whatever the last thing is that's on here, that's what's gonna get left dry. Like I actually have one, two, three, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 that needs to be pulled. I look like I have one that needs some paint over it because I let it dry because I didn't want to pull the paint up. So there is there's truth to both. Okay. Then I ask myself, do I listen to understand or to respond? I'm always a listener to understanding. And that's because I am just always a student first. A teacher, I will say third. A doer is going to be second, but I'm always a student. And then I ask the other question of myself, what areas of my life feel resistant to feedback? Some areas, raising children right now, I don't need no feedback on raising children. So if anybody want to critique um, my upbringing from the past, they're more than helpful. But as far as giving me feedback now, it does me no good. Why? Because my children are grown. Now, what they can do is go talk to my children and maybe they'll listen, but hey, I don't feel like I need to have that knowledge in it. It's just sometimes the feedback isn't necessary. So while I was raising them, I was very open, depending on who gave it to me. My mom talking to me about raising kids wasn't somebody I want to listen to. In my mind, you didn't raise me, so why do I want to listen at you tell me how to raise kids? And then after I got older, maybe I would say in the second set of kids, I kind of looked at it and I was like, well, maybe that is something she can tell you. She can tell you what not to do. See, so there's two sides to it. Yes, there is always something that they can teach you. Yes, there is something just because you maybe don't want to hear it. Maybe I have to head out. All right, Zuzu, it was good seeing you in the chat. See you later. So now we talk with me and my mom. We talk about it, and and I'd be like, yeah, I just felt that's the way I felt. And she's like, I can understand. She's like, but for the reasons that we had, that's why I felt the need to want to share some things. And I was just like, I get it now, but I didn't get it then. So, but it didn't need to be feedback, or it didn't need to be because she would be real hard and be like, well, if you don't do this and you don't do that, then this is going to happen. And I felt like, again, there was a little bit more of the delivery, like, because all that made me do was strike back at her. And neither one of us was right. And thank God we both see how we both strike at each other. And usually I'll just be like, hey, you're doing it again. She'd be like, my bad. Or she'll be like, well, let me say this way. So now she's a little bit more with her tone and correcting, because it's hard to take a woman who cusses more than she speaks, with regular. And I don't want to hear all that. Definitely not from her. So when she gets to the point she wants to express herself, I'll give her maybe two, three of them. And after that, I'd be like, are you talking to me? And she'd be like, well, I just need you to understand what I'm saying. I'd be like, I understood you the first time when you said it. Well, you ain't say nothing. It wasn't nothing for me to say. You're standing on what you believe, and I'm standing on what I believe. And us sitting up here arguing about it is not gonna make it right. Right? Right. Timing matters. Not every moment is the right moment. Correction sometimes given at the wrong time. I don't want to criticize her. I don't want to do the same thing to her that she's doing to me. I now realize my tone matters. And so, how I present my words sometimes can determine how she receives them, how Mr. McCoy receives them, how my children receives them. Because remember, we're over here working on ourselves. We're not working on everybody else to correct them. I'm only over here trying to change Karen. I don't want to be always walking around biting people's head off. I don't. I do it when I need to. I don't always need to. Going in the store yesterday, Saturday, I didn't need to, go and be like, well, y'all need to get y'all butts to work. I could have, but what would that have solved? Y'all know I'm trying to stay out of jail. I don't want to go to jail. I don't need nobody calling the police on me. I'm good. No, thank you. Right? So I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. Hey, Fire Horse, how are you? Some people are an inspiration. Some are an example of the opposite. Absolutely. And some people are so great at what they do, but I just don't want to hear it. I don't want people telling me what I should do. I don't want people telling me what I need to do. I don't want people telling me well, if you don't do this, this is going to happen or whatever. I can hear you say it, but I feel like you need to frame it differently, right? Instead of pointing out the flaws, maybe instead of like, don't highlight the mistakes, but offer a perspective. That's why I tell y'all, this is what I say. I say, as for me over here in Create Joy Studio, this is how we do it. Especially when I'm doing something and somebody has a question about it. But I'm not here to teach it, right? I'm just not here. Again, I'm a student first, I'm a doer second, and I probably would say a teacher third. I just don't feel the need. So here's some things that you can probably say. If instead of saying, like Mr. McCoy would be mowing the grass, right? When we lived in Colorado, I'd be like, you're doing it wrong. And then he'll come back and he wouldn't ask me, well, how you want me to do it? He just look at me like, well, do it yourself was really what he wanted to say. I got that face. But later on, I was just like, you know what? When he come home, he'd be like, oh, well, you already mowed the yard? I was like, yeah, because I like my lines in the yard. He's like, oh, I didn't know that. See, it was the delivery. Instead of saying you're doing it wrong, I should have said, well, you're doing it in the wrong direction. I want my lines in the grass. So here's something that may help you improve this, right? Or women, wives, we say this a lot. You never listen. You're not listening to me. And instead, maybe say something like, I like to feel heard when I share something important. Can you kind of tell me what I said to you? That's kind of what I say to him now. Instead of be like, you ain't even listening to me. Right? Sometimes it depends on what we're talking about. Right? Or I would say that doesn't make sense. And then he'll climb up, or whoever I'm talking to will be like, well, okay, well, it don't make sense to you, so ain't no sense to me trying to, you know, make it any better for you. Or instead of saying it doesn't make sense, maybe say, can we talk through this? Because I don't think I'm getting it. Can we talk through this again? That's being intentional with what you're saying so that the other person doesn't feel attacked, right? And I know whose child I am, and I know that I have attacking spirits in me. And so therefore, I am over here working on not attacking people. Right. Can you help me understand that? That's a much better way than, the way I used to. And I know if some of my employees were to hear this now, they'd be like, I sure wish you'd have learned that way back when. Because although I got the numbers, I had some people that got me, and I had some that, it's just like, oh man, she's just so mean. Be like, I know she mean well, but she just so mean. And it wasn't that I was mean. It's just like I had a job to do. Y'all have a job to do. I ain't come here to make friends. I ain't even come here to make money. Came here to do my job. And that's what I wanted to do. And I pretty much hired people in the interview that I would talk to them, let them know if you come in here to hang out, you want to meet some friends, this ain't the place to do it. At least go over in the men's department and work with them. But over here, and the first time was shoes, and the second time was in cosmetics. Get the people in your chair, then let them become your friends. But other than that, talking to people just to be talking to them, that ain't making no money. So we had to get rid of those kind of behaviors. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful to God that I am not that person anymore. Now she's still in there and she still knows how to come out. You just push a button, you say the right thing at the wrong time, you might get it. But I do know that I'm a whole lot better than what I used to be. And that's because I do not want to always be cutting folks' head off. It's just not what I want to do. Right? Now, and I want a different result. So the other thing is some of the strongest people don't need to be, or mostly it isn't loud, right? They're the ones who do not feel the need to defend every comment, every opinion, or every misunderstanding because they know who they are. And so now in life, I know who I am. And when you know who you are, you don't react to every perception, right? That means you change the like, why am I constantly defending this? Like, you don't need to no more. And that's where I am now. I'm like, I don't worry about it. You home all the time? I ain't gotta defend it no more. I stand firm. Not rigid, but I stand firm. I don't correct them and I don't condemn them. Hi, Lisa. I just kind of do what I need to do. And the balance takes practice. Trust me, you won't get it right out the gate. This is taken, at least I can say probably like maybe it was before my son died. So probably about 10 years that I've become self-aware of who I am. And I would do it in 7-day intervals. And then I would come back and give myself a be like, well, how'd you do this week? And then I would ask somebody else, well, how was it this week? Because like at this time I was still working. And then so it went from now they call me sunshine, be like, oh, when you come around, you're a little bit more pleasant. Be like, you can tell when when we have an event, you're just boom, 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 boom. But at the end of it, it's just like you still smile through it. That's what I was working towards. So I know it became something that I had to be aware of for myself. So it might be something that you need to be aware of, or you don't. I don't know. Depends on where you are. But don't overwhelm yourself. Growth is built in small, repeated choices. And what growth never stops. It never stops. You can be honest without being harsh. Being teachable keeps you evolving in life. Not every correction is an attack. And trust me, my delivery, it determined the outcome and sometimes it determined the influence, right? Growth sometimes requires emotional discipline, which is what I needed for myself. I needed to discipline myself, right? That's what I needed to do. And it was okay. So when you look at it that way, now I did both of these. I had to pause because next, like we're going to talk about the two sides, one mirror, but you get a reflection. And I tried to do this as about as perfect as I could because there's a message here. Okay. Two sides, but there's one mirror. How you reflect is how you usually will interact. Okay. Two sides. Leave that right there. Leave that right there. I'm gonna pull out my words where they I feel like I'm gonna pull those back out because we're gonna do something else on some those music notes. But let's go deeper with this. Growth never stops. Okay. Walk with me now. Don't get weary. Don't get weary. Okay. Just walk with me. Just a little bit. Because here's the truth. And it's gonna require a little maturity. Remember if you get hit, just be like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because right now in life, in relationships, and in conversations that are being had in the world right now today, what feels right and good to one person can feel frustrating or unfair to another. Some are happy right now and some are not. So the question becomes, how do you show up when both realities exist at the same time? Right? You have what we call in our United States of America, Republicans, Democrats, mostly. We'll go with that. And you have the other ones that kind of trickle down. How do you show up when both realities exist at the same time? Both show up as they're right. Both. The mirror you carry, like you carry a mirror. Most women carry a mirror in their thing. But every time you respond to someone, you're revealing something. If you're doing all the talking, then you're making the other person have to reveal their patience. And if you're doing all the talking, then you're revealing your perspective, your level of self-awareness, and your emotional discipline, right? You're not just reacting, you're reflecting. And most people don't realize it. We're talking about something. This is why I don't like yes friends. I want a friend that's gonna, kind of challenge me a little bit. Like we're gonna have a conversation. We have a conversation, and then they're gonna be like, um, well, have you ever thought about it from this perspective? And I'd be like, well, let's talk about it, right? And it depends on what we're going to talk about. Are we still going to be friends when I give you how I feel? And if we are, if you say, yeah, then okay, cool. Let's go. Let's ride out. Let's just do this. Because most of the time they believe if the other person changes, things will get better. And most of the time they're going to be talking to you, trying to change your perspective, like a debate. And there's no growing in that. There's no growth in that. Because most of somebody's going to be like, what am I contributing to this moment, this very moment right here? And not all the outcomes are going to be responsibility or contribution. It's like politicians. They're not going to tell you what's good about their opponent. They're only going to tell you what's bad about their opponent. Who is that good for, right? Because as constituents, we need to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I like to go and dig into both people. Be like, all right, let's learn about this one and let's learn about that one, and all right, let's see. And then I don't want to see the public stuff. I want to kind of dig deep and go back years before you even thought about going to school, because that's the person who is going to come out when the pressure comes up, right? What we have right now in our life, I feel like that's been the same person all along. So there's no surprise about what we're getting. Like, one thing I can say is he is who he is. He's real. Might not like him, but he's real. And sometimes that means some people feel unheard or misunderstood. But for me, I have to be like, well, I'll tell you, he's consistent. So when you look at it in a way of two sides does not mean one is right and one is wrong. Two sides kind of mean one person is right and one person is wrong. Sometimes that means one person feels unheard and somebody feels misunderstood. Both can be real, both can be valid experiences, but when you go in with a closed mind, you're pretty much gonna not have a good conversation. I hope that makes sense. Kind of want to break that all the way down, right? Because it's that way all over the world. It's that way in everything we do in our lives. Some people say the speed limit is 55 and then you're driving 75. Some people say, well, you broke the law. I'll say I didn't break the law. And they'll be like, but the speed limit is 55 and you're driving 75. Well, who's to say I broke the law? Like, you're just saying it. Well, who are you? Then you go on and then now we're having a conversation. Well, the speed limit sign said. I'd be like, well, okay, well, who said I broke the law outside of you? So in my narrow mind, this is the way I look at it. Until I get caught by the one who enforces the law, then I didn't break the law. Does that make that right or wrong? There are two sides to it, right? Now, am I going in to make me right or wrong? No, because when you really look at it, it's yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm breaking the law. And in my mental, I just didn't get caught. It's kind of like you go in the store and steal a steak and you leave out and you go home and you cook it. You didn't get caught, but it was still stealing, right? It's kind of like they were talking about this morning, civil disobedience. It's not what what people want to say it is, but when you look at it, for the reason that civil disobedience came into play all along, you have to really look at, was it right or was it wrong? There were two sides to it. One side said they were right and the other side said they were wrong. You tell a little kid you can't cuss, and then he goes and hear you cussing your neighbor out, and then he goes and cuss the neighbor little kid out, but you tell him he's wrong. That's what I'm saying. So you're not agreeing, you're acknowledging. Your acknowledgement keeps the conversation open. Don't close up, because if you close up, then I won't talk to you about it, right? Like you get some people in life, like I have grandmothers, both of them are, my one grandmother is 99 and my other grandmother is 95. So I have some great conversations. I do. Some of the things I get to do here in my hometown, my grandparents didn't get to do. And they still right now, some of the things I get to do because of the things that they couldn't do, the marches that they had to take place and the lives that, they had to get spit on and all the things and they couldn't vote, because like this morning P was talking about passing a test and yeah, they had to take a test before they could vote, right? So those are the people who I have talking to me now. So the one thing they say is communicate about both sides. It doesn't mean that it's wrong for a person to feel the way that they feel. What makes it wrong is when you close up and it's only your way. And let's talk about this honestly. In many situations, one person feels satisfied and the other person does not. Why? Because what we focus on determines what we feel. One person may focus on what went right, but way back when, they might be like, well, it worked. Okay, you're going to only focus on what went right. Some of us not going to focus on it, not going to see it that way. Because what we focus on determines what we are going to feel. Bye, Keisha. Thank you for hanging out. Right? So, some people might ask, what's missing? And some people might say, what went right? Some people might be like, oh, I'm leaving with my conclusion. This is just how it is. I feel the way I feel, and that's just that. And both leave with different conclusions, you know? That is why communication matters so deeply. Like right now, people want to have a conversation about what's going on in the United States of America. But you can't have closed conversations. You can't have conversations saying they're wrong and I'm right. You have to have an open conversation because if expectations are not clear, someone will leave disappointed. Do I assume people understand me without me expressing clearly? No, I do not. I do not assume that. I do not. Do I check for understanding or do I assume that they agree? Me personally, I'm going to check for understanding. That's why when I finish talking, I want to make sure, was there any questions? Do we have anything based on? Because I'm not here to give you why you should grow every day, every week, every month. I'm just over here just saying, over here, as for me and Create Your Studio, growth never stops here. Never stops. I'm always a student. And I'm willing to revisit conversations when someone leaves unsettled. Clarity prevents confusion. And I like to keep confusion down to a minimum. As I just stamped out, these are my hand signature stamps. You can get them over at PM Artist Studio. I'm quite sure there is a link already in chat. But I want to give myself grace because I want to have peace in my life. I want to love on me even when I'm unlovable to me. And when I do that, I got to go back to giving myself grace so that I can have peace. So that why? The end result for me is to have joy, joy, unspeakable joy, right? And so I don't want to have confusion, right? And confusion often leads to unnecessary hurt. It doesn't have to be. Hey, K-pop mama, how are you? Tell me about it. I ain't put it back. Oh, yeah. And sometimes over the last 10 years, like I was talking to y'all about Mr. McCoy, and y'all know if you've been following me, you've been hanging out with me, my in-law situation, all of that, I had to take ownership without carrying it all. I did not want to continue to say it was my fault, it was my fault, it was my fault, it was my fault. But I did take ownership, and my ownership was the fact that I allowed a lot of this confusion. I allowed a lot of it, which it caused me unnecessary hurt, right? Now here's the balance. You are responsible for your tone, your words, your intentions, and your actions. You you're responsible for those things. I feel like those need to be stamps. Look, your tone, your words, your intentions, and your actions. I like it. You are not responsible for, here are the things you're not responsible for, okay? And this is Karenology. You're not responsible for how others interpret everything. You're not responsible for their past experiences. And you're not responsible for how their emotions get triggered. Now, the reason I said that for me is because it was nobody's responsibility that I would be triggered because of something that they did, and it was unclear that they did a thing. Now, once I told them, And me and Zal agree on this. Once we done told these people that some of the things that they do, that they trigger us, and some of the things they do, now I hold them accountable. You have to put up those boundaries because some people are just going to be jerks, and we're going to let them be jerks, right? But do your part and check your tone, check your words, check your intentions, and check your actions. That's all you can do. Okay. And that way you do your part and you're going to do it well. You're going to do it well. And you release what is not yours to carry. That's how you own your stuff. Like they say, you own your poop, you own your stuff. All right. Now this is gonna go in a book. This is gonna be part of an art journal. That's why I did it like that. And plus, we're talking about the mirrors. There are two reflect. You're looking into a mirror, and what you see, what do you see? You know, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest of them all? That was just a. Oh yeah, I got my new Vogue in. And I thought I'm gonna rip it out. I'm gonna do some stuff because Eddie just had that great video. Look at that, Eddie. I think that one will be great. And then there's one in here with Dwayne Wade on it. And then I thought it was neat that they got a pregnant woman in here. La Vie est Belle. La Vie est Belle. And they had a lot of interesting stuff in this Vogue. I'm just saying. I'm just saying it's a very good one. It's a very good one. So I'm gonna do some things out of this. I was trying to show y'all Dwayne Wade. Oh, I love this water. But I don't know where he went. J'adore. Yeah, more. Have a puffy summer. Oh well, I don't know where it's at. He back here. He's somewhere. Thought he was right near her. Ooh, you're worth it. You're worth it. That's why we're over here. Growth. Growth never stops here. You're worth it. Dream on. Look at that. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh wow. I used to love Dooney and Burke. Not no more. Oh, there he is. Look at that. That one I think will be a great transfer. What y'all think? Y'all think that would be a great transfer? See, stuff like this, flipping through just makes me happy, right? And so when you get to, oh, that's beautiful. That's good. All right, let me squirrel. See how I squirrel real quick. How to reflect peace even in disagreement. So even when those people come, they done messed around and come through your boundaries. They here, right? There, this is where your presence becomes powerful because remember, you've already owned your stuff. You own your stuff, right? What you do is you can disagree without becoming disruptive. You can stand firm without being forceful. You can express yourself and you ain't even got to escalate the situation. You may like, Karen, really? Don't cuss them out. Don't cuss them out. Don't cuss them out. All right, hold on. We're going to do a couple things. We're going to do a couple things. Oh, that brush wasn't supposed to be in there. Oh, mhm. When I was a child, I heard that food was cheap in the U.S. Now your egg costs more than the rest of the world. They do. Oh my goodness. I am so happy we have friends that have chickens. Lord, I am. Because what color is that? Eggs do. They cost too much. And I don't want chickens here at the ranch. I do not. Do not. Um, but what I was saying, so you get to choose to reflect. So we got these boundaries, right? We put up these boundaries. You can express yourself and whatever. And you're just like, how, Karen? You get to choose to reflect. Be calm, be clear, and demand respect in that order. Or not, however you want to put it. But make sure that they know that you know that there's a disagreement and you're choosing peace. You're choosing peace, right? Lower your tone, lift your clarity because you want to be clear on it. Don't match the intensity of them journey. Don't match it. You're gonna shift the atmosphere. And that is the influence that you're going to bring. Like I told my daughter today, when she smiles, she comes in a room and she smiles. It's like she makes everybody that's in there, they could be very, very upset, but she lights a room up when she smiles. Her smile is so contagious. She was the child that used to kind of, she's like, but mama, don't, just don't. And I just be like, oh Lord. So I couldn't look at her. Just couldn't look at her. Um, couldn't look at her. But just had to let her know you done something wrong. So let me ask, like I said, what role do I consistently play in difficult situations or difficult conversations? I'm usually going to be the person now that's going to sit back and kind of be like, should I say something? Is this going to cause a little bit more attention? And if it's going to cause a little bit more attention, then I'm usually going to be the quiet one. I'm not going to have anything to say about it. I'm not. I'll opt out and won't worry about it. Um, I tend to withdraw. I'll defend myself when needed, but I'm not going to dominate a situation where somebody feels that they're going to be in charge of me at all times. I'm just not going to do that. And I also make sure that I'm not doing that to other people. That's why I'm constantly making sure that I check in with Mr. McCoy, be like, hey, let me know what you think about that. Like at the end of something that maybe I feel like that was a little hard. Be like, no, but okay, well, let me know how you feel about it. Because awareness is the beginning of the change. And I am very aware that I'm choosing growth over being right. Right. Do I want to be right or do I want to grow? I want to grow. I do not want to be right because sometimes growth requires you to listen longer than you want to. Sometimes you have to reflect deeper than you plan. And you got to adjust to the people that just walked in the room. Some buttholes just walked in the room. And sometimes you have to adjust to them being there because sometimes they got to be there. Like yesterday, had to entertain some things. Just like, ugh. But we had to do what we had to do. Well, I had to do what I had to do. You know. Oh, receive us again. Oh, that's a great song. Y'all didn't come to hear me sing, but my sinuses and everything still going. I don't have my good alto on right now. Look at that. Y'all pull out the books. Pull them out. Slap some paper on them. Slap some paint on the paper. See? For joy's sake. Just make you happy. Somebody just pissed you off. Don't worry about it. Pick up a paintbrush or pick up a pen or whatever, a pencil, and doodle on it. Write your name, write your dreams, write why you're not going to cuss the person out, write why you showed up in the room to be the goodness of the, not the bad. And that does not make you weak. It makes you wise, right? That's how that worked. So I'm going to kind of pivot a little bit, because I want to share something that, as y'all know, as for men over here in Create Joy Studio, I do serve the God that wakes me up every morning. It makes my heart just so happy and keeps me, right? And so I was thinking, I was reading this, reading in my, um, I was reading in a paper that I had done years ago. Again, talking about school. Always a student. Because I always want to learn. But I had a dream. I had a dream. I had a dream about some words, and hopefully y'all will see them coming to a station near you. But it's very, very clear. So the dream was talking about Saul and David. And those that are swift on their Bible, they go, walk with me. And amen me every now and a little bit. And those that don't want to hear the church part, this would be the part where I'll give you the benediction and say, may the Lord bless you real good. But right now I'm just gonna talk about the lives, what their lives reveal to me about what's going on in the world today. and it's Saul and David. When you bring it into a clear, grounded conversation, you got to look at the story of King Saul and King David is not just history. And over here for us, I ain't gonna say it, churchgoers, but because I ain't been in a church since last year. I think not that I think I'm too good to go and sit. It's just that I just haven't found the place that is not all about not loving everybody. I need to be somewhere where we're gonna love on everybody, good, bad, or indifferent. So I don't want that because I know that the God I serve and Jesus that died for the sins of the world, he did it for everybody. So I don't want to be in that place um that doesn't hone in to that, right? So it's the thing that it's a mirror and it shows us what happens when a person becomes controlled by their insecurities. Saul and David, right? I always say Saul got fired and he was still on the job and he didn't even know he knew he was told he got fired, but he didn't even didn't want to acknowledge it because he had insecurities. And what happens when a person remains teachable, even while they are learning things, right? And if we're honest, both of those tendencies exist in us, but you got to remain teachable. So Saul started with promise. He was chosen, elevated, given great responsibilities, great victories, but something shifted. Instead of continuing to grow, he became focused on what? Maintaining control. It had to be all about him. And y'all think about where he is in the world right now. While I'm saying this, just this is just information only. Just information. We use the past for information only. But Saul wanted to maintain control while protecting his image. It was all about him, holding on to what he had. And when David began to rise, Saul didn't celebrate it. He feared it. So much so, he didn't even know who David was, but so much so that he put out to go and kill whoever was anointed. That's how much he didn't want it to happen. That fear turned into comparison. How many of us know about comparison? Comparison turned into jealousy. Jealousy turned into harshness and reaction. And here, this was it. This is how that shows up today, right? Check it, check it. This is how that brings us into today. When someone else is doing well and it unsettles you, when correction feels like a threat instead of guidance, when you resist growth because it challenges your comfort, Saul represent the version of us that stops being teachable. That moment when you feel like you're exposed, like somebody just exposed something, right? Honestly, ask yourself the question, do I struggle to celebrate other people when they're growing? Do I become defensive when I feel replaced or overlooked? Am I protecting my position more than I'm protecting my growth? Like, these are some of the things you have to ask yourself. Like, it's not about you. I might be talking about Saul, and then Zal might be like, well, what about me? And be like, oh, well, yeah, you got it too. Right? So sometimes you just have to celebrate. We're going to celebrate Saul. Right now, the moment might be about Saul, not about David. Or the moment might be about David and not about Saul. Or the moment might be about this child and not that child. You see what I'm saying? Growth without losing heart is what happened. David was all heart, but David wasn't perfect. Now we know David wasn't perfect, but we do know Saul pretty much refused. And we know where we are in this world right now. We have a leader that's the same. So we just gotta solve. That's why I don't get too bogged down. I stay in the know of things, but I don't get too bogged down because I know what happened with Saul. As a matter of fact, I mean, looking at what's going on, just woof, from what I saw on social media, it's just like, well, what in the world is going on? But oh, guide me, oh thy great Jehovah. Oh, I love that one. But David wasn't perfect. While we're talking about Saul, he wasn't perfect. Just so we're clear, not saying that one is better than the other. We're just saying that one chose to do something a little different than the other. That's what we're saying. That's what I'm saying. Hold on, we're gonna do a little bit more right there. But there was something about David that kept him in alignment, right? He remained responsive. Like he didn't make it all about himself. Even when he was corrected, even when he was confronted, he was willing to reflect on growth, what was good. David didn't harden when he was challenged either. He just kind of adjusted to what Saul was doing because he was doing some things. So he adjusted. And that is what made the difference. David represents the person who can be corrected without collapsing, can grow without becoming prideful, and can succeed without becoming harsh. That was the difference between the two. When you look at the world right now, you got to look at those who can be corrected without worrying about are they going to fall? Are people still trying to grow without becoming the pride of the whole thing? Like we got a leader. Is he leading great? No, maybe. That's again, there's some people that say he's doing a great job. There's some people that say he isn't. There's that mirror again. But David could he succeeded without being harsh. And even when David had opportunities to react harshly toward Saul, he didn't. He chose restraint. He chose respect. He chose to not return harshness for harshness. That's what I choose to do where we are right now in this lifetime. Because as my grandmother said to me, the world is in a place right now where it's not that hard for me. And when I looked at it, and I was like, huh? And I had to let it sit with me because usually my grandmama, she's not gonna explain a lot. She's gonna say what she gotta say. She's gonna drop the ball, and you're gonna have to think about it because I've learned if I think about it, I can come back and be like, hey, when you said such and such and such, did you mean this or did you mean that? And then she'll usually let me know if I'm on the right track or if I'm on the wrong track. But she's always said, I'm not here to sway you, to use your own better judgment because your steps are ordered by the Lord. My steps are ordered by the Lord. What he does for my life, he does not necessarily do for yours. You know him for yourself, like I've known him for myself. So that was very interesting to me. But the tension between the two, between David and Saul, kind of brings is one of the things I took note because real life, because when you move, when you have moments when you have to move, sometimes you just need to sit still. Um, David never felt overlooked. He was already anointed. And moments where you feel threatened like Saul, sometimes you need to sit still, but Saul did. Saul kept going. He went even when the hand of God was no longer on his life. He still continued on because he was prideful. He thought it was all about him. And if you think that where you are in this life is all about you, then I mean, you're okay to think that way. Just remember, everybody does not think the same way. Everybody does not feel like you're the bee's knees. Everybody does not feel like you're the jam on on their bread or the jelly on their toast. You can't tell people they're wrong for not agreeing with what you feel that they should. That's why I gave the benediction for those that might not agree with where I am now. It's okay. I'm okay with it. Here's the difference. Because you have seasons and there are people in your life for reasons. Some people are in your life to help you grow. Some people are in your life for you to help them grow. And the seasons where someone else is rising around you, then it's your season to time to celebrate them. And your response in those moments kind of can reveal your maturity. And I'm kind of going to hone in based on how you kind of chime in on watching you, because my daddy used to say it, a dog that carries a bone, that brings a bone, will carry a bone. Okay. But when you look at it, your response in those moments reveals your posture sometimes. And the difference between Saul reacting from his insecure place and David responding from his identity. David knew who he was. He ain't run around and be like, "Well, I'm the king, Saul. You fired. Go on." He did not. He went right on back out there in the field to tend to those sheep. Saul was the one that needed control. David trusted God's timing. Saul was the one that became harsh to David. David didn't retaliate back. David remained grounded. And what this teaches me about being humble and teachable today in my lifetime, oh, a person who is not teachable, they'll take everything personally, they'll resist, they'll become defensive, and often, most of the time, they're the ones that's being harsh. And those are the ones that I just be like, oh, okay. I mean, I still love on some people like that. I just know, because when I was praying and asking God to just like, God, what is it? Why is this like, why am I feeling this way? And when that thing came up, when I was going through, I wasn't even going through some stuff, but the paper that I had to write, I was like, So I pulled it out. Well, actually, I pulled it up on my laptop and I started reading it. And the answer was there. The answer was there. So the person who is teachable, so you have a person who is not teachable. Don't question them because they ain't gonna do nothing but just like fight back. But the person who is teachable, and those are the ones that I'm kind of like, if you want to grow, because growth never stops here. But the person who is teachable, when you have to deal with a non-teachable person, just pause before reacting to them, reflect before responding, adjust when necessary. Because you're gonna have to adjust to some of their comments, because their comments are gonna come, oh, they're gonna come at you faster than Amtrak train. And communicate with your intention, not to be right, but just to communicate your intentions, right? What you want. And you know what you're going to have to know? You're going to have to know what you want. You can tell the difference when somebody doesn't know what they want and when somebody does know what they want. And sometimes pressure, you're going to have to learn how to handle pressure, because people that are not teachable, they're going to apply some pressure because they want you to come over to their side. Right? Everything that's going on right now, and the way I look at the world right now, I look at the world from the lens of, again, I believe in God. I believe that Jesus died and all of the things. I believe that. So therefore I look at the world in a way that I don't have to stress and worry about the things that are going on. I am aware, but I don't stress over them. Right? The Saul or the David check. That's kind of like where I'm gonna look at. It's like we got Saul in the house up there. David is being groomed right now. David is right around the corner. How it's going to happen? That's not for me to know. But how this relates to our current state of affairs right now in this conversation, this relationships, and even larger spaces in life, you are going to see both patterns. Some people are going to be open, reflective, and willing to grow. Others are going to be defensive, reactive, resistant to change. You just have to know the difference. Some walk away from situations feeling fulfilled because they've confused the hell out of you. Like here in my hometown, we're going to be voting May 19th. There's some people trying to confuse the daylights out of folk, and they're using what's going on right now. So you have to know what you want. You have to do what you need to do, your due diligence for yourself. Don't be one of the ones that walk away frustrated. Why? Because people are responding from different places internally. And this is where responsibility comes in. Not to have control, but to choose which posture you will carry. Are you the ones that's talking about it? Or are you the ones that's praying about them? I mean, I'm praying about them. Like I was always taught, pray for your enemies, pray for those that despitefully misuse you. Because God is going to make a footstool out of those. He's going to bless you. Sometimes you have to go through some things. All of those are the things. Now that is just my little. I'm gonna give the benediction on that, because if you're still here and you're just like, oh Lord, I didn't plan on going to church, just a little bit. I mean, that's just, well, actually, it's a lot of bit, because it's just who I am, right? And I want you to choose your response moving forward. I want you to know that growth never stops growing. You never stop growing. You don't get to choose every situation of your life, but you do get to choose how you show up, right? Learn some things. Pay attention to some things. That's why I say what, listening to Patricia and Mariah, like so much so they started call. Like you listen to things, you listen at what people have to say. If you don't agree, it doesn't make what they said or you said, or doesn't make either of you right or wrong. It just gives a perspective, right? And whoever chooses whoever's perspective doesn't mean somebody won. It just means your posture determines your influence. Maybe your delivery was too much. Maybe you were just too rah, rah, rah. Maybe they didn't understand what you were talking about. I don't know. For me, myself, and I usually just kind of look at things and be like, oh, okay. All right, let me get some information on this and let me see how I'm going to move forward with this. And usually that's what I've learned how to do. Remember, I'm always a student. I'm ever learning. Ever learning. But insecurity can lead to harshness. Insecure people are the harsh. They are so cruel and mean. And that's because of their hurt. Remember I told you hurt people hurt people. And when you're being teachable, that is usually what's going to protect your growth, right? Not every rising around you is a threat. Not. And you can correct and respond without damaging others. Your posture is usually going to kind of speak for itself. Okay. All right. Now I'm sitting up here and I'm stamping. I'm doing a little thing because y'all know I got a smash book going on. I have an art journal that I'm actually creating. So these pages are going to go in the art journal so that the person will have my art in the journal. And you can grab these over at PM Artist Studio. The sun just came out so beautifully. And for somebody like me, that just means that God is very well pleased that although I said I wasn't going to do it, it's just like, oh Lord, I don't have time to get beat upside the head. Usually it's going to be a fight over here, and God usually is going to win. Because God says, do you love me? And it's like, yes, I love you. Then feed my sheep. They're like, you sent your son to die for these very people who just still listening. Doesn't matter. You still have to do what you have to do. Because why? I've taken a stance. And I feel like people listen to me more than when I'm nice and calm than, yelling. You gotta love God. You need to love God. You need to do this. You need to do that. No, you don't. Because if God ain't begging you to love him, neither am I. But when you ask me, Karen, how in the world do you show up after losing two children? All the people that you've lost, that you've loved. And it's just like, you know what? God said that there is life and there is also death. And in the meantime, I will send a comforter. I will be here to comfort you, not lead you comfortless. You will have to go through some things. You will have to go through some people that are mean and nasty and don't love what you do. But just know that I love you. And I'm always here for you. And I'm always going to send somebody here that is going to give you the truth. When people say they don't like you because of who you are, that's on them. That's not yours. So the story of Saul and David, it's not just about the kings. It's about the choices that they made. And the same thing with you, the choices that you choose to make. You have to decide, how are you going to show up? Are you just going to retreat? Or are you going to be more of a voice so that people can know that you still stand your ground no matter what? Hey, Paula Cat. Okay, I had a dream we're walking on that beach, girl. Just can't wait. So I love y'all. I love y'all for hanging in. I love y'all for your responses. And I love that you have taken a stance to hang out with me, right? And I love those that that love me. And I love those truthfully that don't love me. I'm okay with it. Because at the end of the day, this is what I've learned. Don't nobody have a heaven or a hell to put me in. And I know every day, even though me and God have some moments when I have to tell him, look here, dude, I'm not saying, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just whatever. I'm not. I wake up the next morning and I be like, ooh, he didn't smoke me. Because, I had people, and they just like, you just be so forward with how you talk about your God. Like, what do you mean? God knew when I was born that I was going to be a rebel. He already knew I was going to be the one to tell the people, listen, I'm not asking you for your money to do none of the things, because that's what people say. I'm not going to the church and giving the preacher my money and da 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 da. I'd be like, oh, okay. I feel you. Been there, done that. Like they had the building fund and they never put a doorknob on the church. It's like, what we building? Why we got a building fund every Sunday? What we doing with all this money? Been there, done that. But when I went and learned that God loved me for me, not for who I was, who I loved, and all the things, that was when I opened up my eyes and I saw the true reflection that God was not pleased with all the finger pointing. And that is when my life became better. Stop judging folk and start loving people for right where they are. And start telling other people you need to start loving people. You need to love more. Stop being such a jerk. The very person that you don't love is the very person that could probably pull you out of that rotten hole you're in. But you won't give them a chance because of who they love or who they did love or whatever. Or what church they say they are, what denomination, like all the things that people are choosing to just it's just heart wrenching. And again, it's like that mirror. There's a reflection. When you look in that mirror, what do you see? I always ask myself, will God be pleased? Some days I'll be like, listen, they deserve to get cussed out right now. You gave me this tone. You know I was gonna cuss them out, so here it is. My bad. What I enjoy about you talking about all of this is that it is all about your relationship and not how others should have the same relationship. Oh, heck yeah, girl. Listen, Mariah, we can go out and hang out. I'll be darned if I'm gonna tell you what you gotta do. That's what I'm saying. That's the part that pisses me off though. That's what they do. I think it was, and look, that was the last stream. I was waiting on Eddie to say it. Eddie said it, and I just like, that's the part. That's the part right there that I don't like. And that's what made me walk away from organized religion. Like going up in church. And I'm talking about from the homosexual to the strippers to the pole dancers to the prostitutes. They were judging everybody and saying they were just not of the God and all the things. And I just like, that's not what that Bible said. I read and it said God loves all. God said God sent his son to die for the sins of the world. I'm confused. I'm confused. And I was so confused. I was so confused. I was so confused and I was so hurt. Hence is why I went and got a degree. I went down that rabbit hole for 4 good long years. And then I stepped back and I said, that's not right. And it's just like, I feel like I can do a whole channel like Mariah, like y'all got called. I feel like I can do a whole channel on that. Oh, but it's just not right. It's just not right. Choices in how you respond, how you handle it, right? And how you treat people. That's what's important. And that's where I think people need to go back and really, really ask the questions. Ask yourself, like, why are you doing this? I mean, and we go back, like we can go back to, like I say again, our president of these United States of America. He feels like he's doing what he's doing, and he feel like he's right. If I was to sit down and have a conversation with him, if I could be his therapist for about, I probably need about 5 hours, and I'd ask some very deep questions, and then I would have to wait. That's why we'd have probably have to have 5 hours because I'd have to wait. I don't want him to, be reflective or whatever. I just want him to answer the question from maybe the 5 or the 10-year-old him. Because this didn't start as an adult. Y'all know most of the things when you're insecure and when you're protective and stuff like that, when you like that, it started somewhere in your childhood. That's why when you go to the counselors and the first thing they will, well, tell me about childhood. Because usually we want to get to the root. Ain't got nothing to do with your husband, your wife, your sister, your cousin. It's got to go back to the root. Even with my own children, it's like, let's go back to the root. Now, why you did that? Tell me, what age did you feel that needed to have happened? Because you're an adult now. Why are we doing that? And then they'll go back and they'll be like, "Well, you remember when you went to work and this was three of them. This was the three gripes of the last. Because with the last set of children, I worked. Their gripe was always, you were just always at work. You just always at work. It was it. I was like, well, you always wanted clothes on. You always wanted to eat. You always wanted a roof over your head. So I had to work. That wasn't good enough. So I said, well, don't worry about it. Just keep living. You got children. And let's see if we can revisit this conversation again. I think it was, not long, maybe 4 or 5 years later, two of those children. So I apologize. What you apologizing for? You had to go to work and, I ain't have to be such a jerk. Hey, it's okay. It was your reference right where you were. Now that we've addressed it, now moving forward, can you not be so disgruntled towards people? So that's sometimes why you have to just kind of go in and ask the question. Which one will you choose to be moving forward? The little kid who mama worked all the time, or the adult who now have a greater understanding of why she worked all the time because now you have to work all the time to feed your children. Because the way you respond today, it is shaping the life of who you will be tomorrow, right? I've even tried to watch church online. So soon as they started talking negative about folks, I checked again. I was like, so you know what, Zal, let me tell you something. You remember I told y'all, I pretty much I do church online too. I ain't gonna say it the way I normally would say it, but if you know me, you know how I say it. I won't say it that way, but normally I say it that way. Uh, oh Lord, boy, I tell you what. Oh, Mr. McCoy, just another card. It's just, anyways, he just sent a text message, and I swear I don't know who somebody's card who has more fraud on it. But anyways, you probably don't use it enough. But this is why I love my bishop. Okay, I love my bishop first of all because if he does get up there and he preach something on Sunday, we can have I can text time he give the benediction and be like, you like what was the perspective of that? Why were we talking about that? I haven't had to do that in a mighty long time because when I was going to school, we had a whole lot of conversations, and now he's more into loving because he's never been one to point the finger in at a specific group of people. He's never really done that. But he would tend to he tend to point out, like right now his conversation about the president. And I'd be like, but what does that have to do about the salvation of people? They don't go together to me. But then you hone it in and you use it as an example. Like I just used Saul and David as an example. Okay, I get that. So you're bringing it, you're giving me an example of something that's already happened because we use history for today's examples, right? Because yesterday is shaping out tomorrow. I get it. So again, I'm always open for growth. And sometimes, he'll just be like, well, sometimes you just got to say what needs to be said. You got to stand flat footed and say it. You know me. And I'll be like, yeah, I do. Like even preaching my son's funeral. Boy, when I tell you how he went in on the police and how them the threats and the things and then he brought that thing full circle as to how Jesus would not be pleased at what was going on in today's right now. I still get a little, ooh, I got chills now just thinking about it. Somebody has to stand flat footed and say something. Somebody needs to hear what needs to be said. Do we all agree? No. There's a mirror, there's two reflections. You looking in the mirror, and there is a reflection coming back at you, right? If you ever get into the history, the all of the complexities of the mirror and light is very good. That means your response, that's why I say all you need to do is pause. You don't need to respond back to people. Don't respond back to them. Because when you let the pressure get to you, then they're winning. And we don't want them to win. And I'm gonna grab me a drink because that tells me my mouth is getting dry. But I am going to gonna hit these up because I think they'll be hopefully I did the right color and didn't do the glaze. Y'all can hear that, right? Hopefully my noise cancellation does a great job of canceling it out. Y'all let me know because I can wait. It does. But I think some of my best friends are friends that I can have conversations about um, God, who don't go to church, don't want to, they tell you straight up, I ain't got time for that. And I'd be like, oh, cool, let's have a conversation. Right, we ain't got to talk about that. I'm not here to tell you, oh my goodness, let me tell you, let me give you a good example. Yeah. Oh, good, you cannot hear the heat there. Okay, cool, that means I can keep talking. Now, let me tell you my good example. I don't know if I told y'all this story, but in Colorado, we had a hailstorm. And on our street, people cars were parked on the street. Ours were in the garage. One of them was in the garage, and one of them was in the street, parked on the street. Well, if your car is parked in the street during this hailstorm, when that morning when we went out, it looked like somebody had came up the street with a bat and just bashed in windows and beamed up, because it was a softball sized hail, and it just sounded on the roof. And in Colorado, you would get a roof, like most places, you don't get a new roof. About your roof lasts about 30 years. Well, in Colorado, you get a roof probably every 5, 6 years because of the hail. Hail messed the roof, and you have to have your roof inspected and stuff because of the hail. So we had window damage, deck damage and stuff like that. And so I guess when Mr. McCoy was on the phone talking to his mother, he shared what, about the storm and what had happened and, all things. And so she said what she said to him, and I don't know why he came back and told me probably about 3, 4 days after the conversation, talking to the insurance adjuster or whatever. Um, and so he's like, William said, well, my mama said the reason that we don't have, the reason that happened to us is because we don't go to church and pay our tithes. And boy, I tell you, my head flipped around like I was Carrie. If y'all saw the movie Carrie. And I was like, what? I didn't have I wasn't very, I didn't have a good choice of words like I do now, because that was over 10 years ago. So I came out my mouth and it's like, WTF she thinks she is to tell us about what, all the things. It's like, one thing ain't have doesn't have anything to do with the other. I think so. Basically, what your mother is saying is that this happened to us because we're not going to church and we're not paying our tithes to a church. That's what she said. And he's like, yeah, I want to get on the phone and have a conversation with her. He's just like, no, it's just it not, that's not it, and whatever, whatever. I was like, no, because the same Bible that she wants to throw at you is the same Bible that I'm finna go and walk some scriptures with her. You might can't walk the scriptures with her, but I can. Because one thing has nothing to do with whether I serve him or not, or whether I go to church or not. God is a giving God no matter what. I mean, I'm telling y'all, when I walk around the ranch some days, you would be like, did she say she served God? Yes. And I still wake up and he still loves me. That's the difference. And I'm getting all worked up. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. I'm going to need a drink. Oh, that thing got me hot all over again. I just, it did. But those are the type people. So, Mariah, to your point, I understand. I understand because I've had to deal with the very same people. I told Eddie last week when we were on the live. I think I gave the example of, when I got pregnant at 15, they told me I had to go in front of church and ask God forgiveness. I mean, you want me to go and ask for forgiveness from the very God that gave me the baby? I was confused. I was very confused. And so instead of teach, and some of these people are still here in this town, still going to church and still believe and still want girls that get pregnant, still do the same thing. I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna calm down. See, I just got all flustered again. Let's breathe. Everybody breathe. Let's breathe. Let's breathe because it's all about we're gonna give them people grace on our peace. We're still gonna love on them because God wants us to still love them. That's the thing sometimes. I think that's why I get upset the most is because I know that I still have to be the light for them. I still have to love on them. I still have to love them. I still have to tell them that God is joy. God is the light of the world. You did not die for the sins of the world. Jesus did. So you do not get to tell people where they're going. But we got to love. The greatest of these, all of these, is love. We have to love. And I think, and I don't think, I know that when God called me when I was 12 years old, sitting on the side of the bed, and I started running, I was just like, you do not want me to talk to your people. And then as I got older, it was still there. I was like, you do not want me to talk to your people. I am not into talking to these people who do not, they do not. They're telling people like, and they're using the religion to, what is it, to hoist up their agenda. That is so, that's not a, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, the only thing better than having that. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that in my head. I'm not gonna say that out loud. Oh, yeah, don't let that man. Oh, yes, goodness. But I say I worked up with you. But this the same woman though. I still have to love. We never had that conversation, but she do know I do not bite the tongue. We do have the boundaries now because I say she's the same person that told me as a counselor that I was stealing people money. All people needed to do was pray more. I feel, you know what? Okay, that's your take. Because remember, there are two sides. That's why what I've been telling y'all today, it is nothing that I haven't been through for myself. It is nothing that I haven't been through to myself. So be slow to respond because God does put people in situations to let them see that sometimes your answer is not right. The way you look at things may not be what may not be. Again, David and Saul, that's just it. Just David and Saul is a great example. And I'm so glad that I shared that with y'all because now I feel better about that because ooh, it's about choices in how we respond and how we respond to the pressure and how we treat people. That's all I can say about that so that I can go back and keep on loving these folks. Okay, now these right here, I've done these. I was doing something. I was thinking about something else. Oh, that's what I was doing. Yeah, I got so sidetracked. Ooh. Yes, that's what I was doing. This is Karen. This is Karen combination. We're doing the flowers. We got the watercolors. We got the flowers. Now we're gonna put the words. One, two, three, four. Well, somebody's gonna get an extra one. All right. Oh, let's see. Lisa said, "I will never forget how horrible the minister at my mother's funeral spoke to some of our family members. It was embarrassing. A far cry from the message." Yeah, them sometimes you get them preachers. Them preachers, they take a funeral. They take a funeral. Oh, that's just a ground to just talk to the people they ain't never seen. So rude. That's why when one of my elders that I respect dearly started calling me Minister McCoy, I was like, mm-mm. It's like, but you spread God's word. I don't need a title. Don't definitely don't that. Don't be putting me on no pedestals. God has not called. He said, well, I don't think you done answered. I was like, well, he keep calling. I maybe one day I'll answer, but nope, I do not need that pressure. I'm good. I need to just be able to stay. I need to be able to keep my I need to be able to stay where the way I am. And I feel like God is very well pleased with me. That's why the sun came out. It's shining so bright right now. He does reaffirm, I see your daughter, and I am very well pleased. And like somebody say, you don't be pointing your fingers at because you got three pointing right back at you. So stop judging folk. Stop doing it. Love on them. Love on them. The greatest of these is love. So all that's going on in the world right now today, again, I continue. I lift him up. The orange man, I lift him up, and I said, God, just your soul. This our time to deal with this soul in my day and time. Then can continue to give me the strength. Continue to give me what the forthwith to encourage the people that I do talk to keep the faith and to hold on, because we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. It's a sad time right now, but we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. We got this. We got this. All right. I like this. Now I'm not gonna. I thought about putting, embossing on that, but I think I like the way that showed up. That looks good. That looks good. I'm very well pleased with that. Y'all like that? Did y'all enjoy that? Did y'all enjoy that? Hey, Bernadette. Bernadette, you just got here. You just got the chance where you can say that. You can say something. See you later, Stall. Bernadette had to deal with my in-laws. Well, my in-law. She had to deal with my in-law. Ooh, yeah. But they fine now. They fine. Everybody fine. Everybody is on one accord now. I can't say that. We're on one accord. And that makes my heart happy. I feel like I needed to keep stamping those so I can stamp off and use my ink. You need to do a orange one next time. I did. This one was orange. That's orange. Or you mean orange the flowers, the embossing? I don't if that's what you mean. I don't think I got orange embossing. Let's see. Wait, that's red and that's red. Yeah, those red. But yeah, I did an orange for you, because orange has been for whatever. I think since they talked about it the other day on PMR Studio, it's just like orange has been out a lot. But you want more orange? So there, orange, red, blue. Yeah, God, let's put it first. There it is. Urge and urge. We do urge. Yes, we do urge. Let's stamp these on out. Oh yeah, see, we still got a lot of ink in them. Stamp them out so that way you don't waste it. Oh look, there's a song. We're marching to Zion. We're marching, marching up to Zion. That beautiful. See, I ain't got to go high on that one. I can do that one. Oh Lord, that's beautiful. That's just how I look at it. See, the stamp that keeps on giving. Y'all go get you some. Go grab you some stamps. So that way you can remind yourself to have joy. When people start talking crazy, just remind yourself to have some joy. Remember when people start talking crazy, to love on them and just be like, and this is the thing. This is what I tell you. This is what I do. Because for me, I'd be like, you know what? I'ma love you with the love of God. That's a southern thing. Like, oh, bless your heart. You just really, boy, you better be glad that I got the love of God, that I won't really just cuss you out like I want to. Glorious is thy name. That's another one. Can't sing that one. That one make you go high too. But y'all, if I die today or tomorrow, we will not have a funeral. There will not be a church service. We won't have none of that. I'll make sure Mr. McCoy is able to log in and do a live to let everybody know, that there has been a transition. But other than that, there will not be a time unless you come to the ranch when y'all celebrate, because I want to be celebrated. I do not want to have no weepy funeral and somebody talking over me, talking about whatever they want to talk about. Nope, just want to party out, party up, party up. What's that song? In the house tonight. Mr. McCoy, yes, you will do a live. Oh, okay. Well, let me see. I got to go get my wheel redone. I got to have somebody to have my YouTube login. Thank you for letting me know. No live. Okay, ain't gonna be no funeral. That's for sure. Oh, glad I came back and did this. Oh, taste and see that he is good. Sorry, as I flip. We gather together. The words, the names of the songs. I don't know that one. But y'all see these things? I put too much ink on there. Wounded for me. Oh, okay, that should be good. Oh, I got more. Seem like, have thine own way. All right, I got a lot of pages stamped out. I think that's good enough. Let's put them back in their box. Y'all see, I keep mine in my little boxes. Everybody else over there in a box together. Where they're special. Why? Because they're mine. I'm just saying. Go get you some over at PM Artist Studio. All right, all right, all right, all right. All right, where are we? Okay. Goodness, time went by. I was supposed to do something. It was. I can't remember what it was, but I'm not going to stress over it. I'm not going to stress over it. Okay, recap. Just in case you came in late, remember we have our books that are over on my website that are for sale. They're 10 and 12. 10 and 12. 10 and 12. These are 10 and these are 12 because these are thicker. So you get more pages in this one. So, and these are fancier a little bit, but these are 10 and there's a link. Think I've got it pinned. Oh, not, it's pinned below because they've changed where you pin them. So you can get them. But you can get these and they're art journals that are made. And now you can add your art to my art, which are gel prints that are pulled by different designers. And they are signed because P says you have to sign your artwork. So they're signed. And you get some of them, you get my stamps stamped in there. Right? So that's where we are. All right, now, does anybody have any questions? Because I shared a lot today. I did, but I hope the point that I was trying to make, I hope it got across that growth never stops. You're ever growing, and you always should want to aspire to be a better person, not for someone else, but for yourself. Okay. It's just like I said, there was David and there was Saul. Saul stopped wanting to grow. David continued to grow in his humility. He didn't even let nobody know that he was the next chosen king. So for yourself, you have to ask yourself the question, which one will you choose to be moving forward? Will you have moments where you feel like Saul? Or we have moments where you have the opportunity to be like David. The question is not which one you have been, it's which one do you choose to be going forward. You got it? Just saying, I'm just saying. And that way, what's going on in the world today, we can kind of take it with a little bit more palatable. You know, it's like I remember when I used to have stomach ache, my aunt used to give me castor oil. It got me moving pretty doggone fast, but it tasted really, really, really bad. But it was good for me, but it tasted really, really, really bad. So what's going on in the world right now might be tasting really, really, really bad to some. And it might taste good to some. Remember, there are two views. We can't say that neither are right or wrong. We just have our perspective. And because we're growing and we're being a better person, we're not saying they're wrong. We're not saying we're right. We're not saying they're right. We're not saying they're wrong. We're just choosing to align where we need to align so that we know what we know for ourselves. Because what goes on in my house, y'all probably can't have and handle in y'all house. I have breakfast dishes and I have dinner dishes. I have orange juice glasses. I have water glasses. And if they're not used, I'm going to look at you crazy. You better ask Mr. McCoy. He in the chat. So some people are happy with what's going on in the world right now, but we don't want to condemn them. Because if we do, then that makes us just as bad as the people we were talking about a few minutes ago. We're going to have to love them, unfortunately. But one day, they're going to have to do the same thing to us. There's no reason to defend. Well, let's see. That's a YouTuber we watched had a video made when he died. He had cancer. He said, if you are watching this, oh, now Lisa, now that might be a thought. I might need to do one of those. I have letters to my children. Every year I write a new letter to my children's. And yeah, it's a new letter every year. They said they wanted the letters compiled. I was like, no, once I write a new one, there's no need for you to get the old one. They want to know, I want to know what the old one said. It's like, usually it's about their behavior, basically. Mariah says, you rock and thank you for the joy you put out into the world. Also, P and I will be honored to stream for you if Mr. McCoy needs us to do that. Oh, thank you. See, somebody, because I feel like people will miss me. And that feels so doggone good knowing that I will be missed. It does. Michelle said, thank you for sharing. Still talking with the Lord with all I've heard here. Topeka, hello. Align my heart. I'm late. Housework, best with. Thank you. I see a plate as a plate. Mr. McCoy. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna respond to that. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave that. He does see a plate as a plate. He doesn't care about a glass being a glass. He doesn't care about any of the things. And I'm not gonna keep going on all the things because I told you when you get in the chat, sometime when you open your mouth, I be ready to stick my foot in it for you. But I'm gonna let that one go because I just talked about growth and how I've become a better person, and I'm not going to just be very rigid and condemning right here. So I'm going to leave on that note and just say, Mr. McCoy, I love you for seeing a plate as a plate. You're so sweet to even put that dirty plate in the dishwasher. That's lovely. I appreciate it. See y'all. Sometimes just real life, this real stuff. Growth never stops here. Cookie said, Mr. McCoy, you are brave. You are sleeping in the shed tonight. Oh, she said in the shed. He wouldn't even sleep in the shed because the shed got air conditioning in it. So no, he'll be outside under the tree. But he'll be all right. He don't care. William, there are many types of plate. LOL. Wow. Love you anyway. My husband does not understand my art. Mr. McCoy don't understand my art either. He ain't going in the doghouse. Doghouse is too. That would be nice. Our doghouse is nice. Our doghouse got air conditioning in it, y'all. We went to got that air conditioning. So, but yeah, I'm gonna get off here. I was gonna throw some paint on gel plate, but I'm getting hungry. The puppy done, again. I think that's the problem. By the time I finish doing the regular, then the puppies, all I hear is him barking and whining, and I can't be slapping paint on the gel plate with him just begging my attention. I think that's probably why Monday ain't been right out Monday. I don't know those, but I know right now I'm hungry because I ate, but it was only a chicken salad. So I will see you guys later. Hey Karen, I purchased a $10 journal. Thank you. Oh, surprise you. Oh, that's what everybody's been wanting to be surprised. Okay. Thank you, Saul. Y'all have a good evening. I will see y'all on Wednesday.